I don't think you have any other volunteers.
Doesn't sound like it.
Looks like you're doing it.
Thank everybody for the help.
But we've lost the spiders and the seasonal birds.
Oh, that's right.
There's Rick.
Squire was our preacher.
What's that?
Squire was our preacher out
I know.
there.
Oh, is Rick also?
Rick is still on, but he's.
Yeah.
That's first in, yes. I think he's done.
Is he?
He's my.
I've never.
I haven't either. I said he was. I said he was. We'll find out. But I'm more than debating.
Yes.
That they should be.
This is not.
Thinking about the first game?
What?
I'm not good looking.
Yeah. I said I'm looking at the. But it's still.
Nobody else here.
That's a plaza, right?
There we go. Red line.
Dundee.
As bad as it's in chance of getting the marks.
Oh, no, I just had my entire.
They keep.
My entire dress is around there.
There's stuff. More
Good.
I don't know. There you go. There it is.
Go ahead and call the meeting to order. Jordan, if you please take roll.
David Lane,
Here.
Mario Mangano,
Elizabeth Davis. Here. Jennifer Basking. Wendy Ventures. Colin Wells.
Here.
Rick Hemingway. Tina Summerlin. Here. And Craig Fuller.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Commissioners, I get a chance to review the minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
I would move to accept the
Skipped it.
the minutes as read.
Can we go back to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. If you would please rise for the invocation of the pledge. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the beautiful city of Winter Haven and the opportunity to serve the residents. We ask that you be with us as we consider the cases before this board. We ask these things in your name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do a brief explanation of the hearing. I'll read the case into the record, and then staff will provide a presentation. Commissioners will have an opportunity to ask questions of staff. If once commissioners have had an opportunity to ask their questions, we will close the planning commission hearing and open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against the case, starting with the applicant, may do so. We ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes. After everyone from the public has had an opportunity to speak, we will close the public hearing and reopen the planning commission hearing. We'll ask for additional questions or entertain a motion and then call for a vote. If anybody from the public wishes to speak, if you would, please stand and Jordan will swear you in now.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case shall be the truth?
Thank you, Jordan. All right. Moving on to new business. We'll start with case number P-23-04-S, request by August Isaacs for special use approval for a large-scale drinking establishment in the commercial highway C3 zoning district. General location 5999 Dundee Road, Suite 650. The area covered by this request is 0.03 plus or minus acres.
Heather Reuter, senior planner for the record. This is the zoning map. As you can see, it's the small little hashed unit that's in this parcel as part of a strip center. This property was rezoned in the past year from the PUD to C3 to allow for a grander use of uses within the shopping center that was compatible with the area. As you look at the aerial map, again, it is one of the units located within the strip center here at Cypress Creek Village and located on Dundee Road. This is a view of the subject property. I did a red arrow there. You can see the unit that is the August Heat Events. As you look to the east, there's a Dollar General as you head north on towards the town of Dundee. As you look to the south, there's the Cypress Wood subdivision. To the southwest, more of Cypress Wood. And then a little bit of a background. Again, this is a request for special use approval for a large-scale drinking establishment in the C3 zoning district. Currently, the proprietor is operating a banquet hall with a state 2 COP, which is beer and wine only, alcohol license, and a 1,200 square foot lease space. They propose to expand their business to allow for themed public events, which would change by code definition their use to a large-scale drinking establishment. They do meet the separation requirements from churches and schools, and concerns stemming from the location near the Cypress Creek Village Mobile Home Park, specifically potential concerns within the parking lot, have been addressed in the submitted security plan and through proposed conditions and the special use approval. In conclusion, the location of August Heat and Cypress Creek Plaza is compatible with the mixture of uses in the shopping center, as well as this portion of the Dundee Road corridor. Minimal offsite impacts are expected as a result of this request, and the applicant's security plan has been reviewed and approved by the chief of police. Therefore, staff does recommend the planning commission approve this request with the conditions that are in your published agenda packet. And this is the floor plan that was submitted. As you can see, it's a very small unit and not a large space for a lot of customers. Is there any questions?
Yes, have you had any response from citizens living near? You mentioned trailer park.
We haven't
How
received,
close is that?
it's directly to the north of here, as you can see on the aerial map. No, we have not received any phone calls or comments from anyone that was noticed for the meeting.
Will the establishment have music that could extend outside of the building at
It-
closing time or?
In the conditions that you are in your agenda packet, they're not allowed to have any activities outside. So they may have music inside their establishment, but again, it's subject to noise ordinance as any other use within the city would be.
Thank you.
Any other questions by commissioners? All right, seeing as we have none, we will go ahead and close the planning commission portion of the hearing and open the public hearing. Is the applicant or anybody here that wishes to speak for or against this case? All right, then we will close the public hearing and reopen the planning commission hearing. And stand for any additional questions or entertain a motion.
Go ahead.
I make a motion to approve case number P 23-04 S, request by August Isaacs for special use approval for a large-scale drinking establishment in the commercial C3 zoning district, general location 5999 Dundee Road, suite 650. The area covered by this request is 0.03 plus or minus acres, as outlined.
Second. Oh, sorry. Back sheet. Yeah.
Actually,
All right, we have a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Next case number P 23-15 and P 23-16. Request by Shelton Rice to assign residential low-density future land use and multifamily residential low-density R3 zoning district to an annex parcel, general location, a parcel generally located south and west of Old Bartow Lake Wales Road, east of Waters Road, and approximately 2,516 plus or minus feet north of Whidden Cemetery Road. The area covered by this request is 65.92 plus or minus acres.
All right, Heather Reuter again for the record. This is the future land use map. As you can see, this is the southeasternmost portion of the city as a recently annexed parcel out S 653 turns into Old Bartow Lake Wells Road. In that area is a mixture of residential low density and conservation with the Peace Creek Canal, and that institutional over there to the far west is the new elementary school that's under construction. As you look at the zoning map, again, there are some planning unit developments with us in the area that allow for a mixture of townhomes and single family homes, as well as there's multifamily residential, low density R3 down at the corner at 653 and Old Bartow Lake Wells Road. As you look at the aerial, which is a little bit dated, as the over in the far western corner, the Peace Creek Reserve subdivision is under construction, as well as the school. So there is work out there and the new roundabout that just opened back up. But as you can see, the subject property is Old Grove land. This is a view of the subject property looking to the west. This is looking to the east there from that frontage. There's a mixture of single family mobile homes in that area and unincorporated. As you look to the south, again, down Old Bartow Lake Wells Road, you have more groves and open pasture land. This is a view of the subject property looking to the south along its frontage on the straight part of Old Bartow Lake Wells Road. And as you look to the northwest, there is a single family home there. And to the northeast, there's other single family homes in that vacant area. Through there is the Peace Creek Village development. A little bit of background, this is again a request to assign residential low density future land use and multifamily residential low density R3 zoning. This parcel was annexed into the city on January 23rd of this year. The applicant proposes to develop the property with residential, but a specific product mix and units has not been determined at this time. At the maximum density of 10 dwelling units per acre allowed by the R3 zoning district, the theoretical maximum number of units is 659. There is adequate capacity in supporting public infrastructure at this time for this request, but a final concurrency determination will be made at the time of development. In conclusion, staff's review of these requests yield the following conclusions. The assignment of residential low density future land use in R3 zoning district is consistent with surrounding uses and designations, and there is sufficient public infrastructure capacity to accommodate the maximum theoretical development under R3. Therefore, staff does recommend the planning commission recommend approval of these requests and they're forwarding to the city commission for final action. I stand for any questions.
Any questions? No? All right, then we will go ahead and close the planning commission portion of the meeting and open the public portion of the meeting. The applicant, or anybody wishing to speak for or against, if you would, please state your name and address into the record.
Yes, sir. Thank you. For the record, my name is Sheldon Watts, attorney with the law of Peters and Myers, address 225 East Lemon Street, Lakeland, Florida. Today I'm here on behalf of Mark Goldschmidt, my client who's acquired this property. This is a project we worked on with the city for 5-6+ months. Ultimately, it required annexation, parcel combination and split, and a few things that we've done to get to where we are. This property has been annexed into the city, and so this is simply to assign land use and zoning consistent with some of the property that's around it. I have a presentation, but I'd be glad to spare you of that. Ms. Reuter did an excellent job going into the details. So I'll stand for any questions, and I would ask if there is any public comment that I'd be given a moment to respond. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any questions, commissioners? Okay. Anybody else from the public wishing to speak for or against? All right, we will go ahead and close the public portion of the hearing and reopen the planning commission hearing. Any additional questions by commissioners, or we'll entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion in favor of cases P-23-15 and P-23-16 are requested by Sheldon Rise to assign residential low density future land use to an annexed parcel and to assign multifamily residential low density R3 zoning to an annexed parcel. The general location being a parcel generally located south and west of Old Bartow Lake Wales Road, east of Waters Road, and approximately 2,516 feet more or less north of Wooden Cemetery Road. The area covered by the request is 65.92 more or less acres, as presented in the fact sheet and by staff.
All right. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next case number P-23-17, request by Joshua Taylor to rezone 2 parcels from planned unit development PUD zoning district to commercial heavy C4 zoning district. General location 3187 Recker Highway. The area covered by this request is 1.32 plus or minus acres.
All right. This is the zoning map. As you can see, the subject parcels are industrial future land use, as well as the other city parcels that front on Recker Highway. Across the CSX tracks, there is residential low density. As you look at the zoning map, again, this is 2 parcels that are part of a planned unit development. The adjacent parcel to the west, which is also under the same ownership, does have C4 zoning on there. And then across the railroad tracks, there is R3 residential zoning. As you look at the aerial map, this is a little bit dated. The parcel that looks vacant does have a mobile home business that is located on there at this time. And there is cars though from the adjacent automotive business on that western parcel. This is a view of the subject property. Another view of the subject property as you look to the eastern portion of this. As you look to the east down Recker Highway, there's a shopping center and some restaurant uses as you head towards Pullman Road. As you look to the southeast, you can see that shopping plaza, and to the southwest, some vacant commercial land in unincorporated. And again, to the west, the automotive repair, the continuation of that business that's on one of these parcels. Again, this is a request to rezone 2 parcels from Plan Unit Development Zoning District to Commercial Heavy C4. The subject property is a portion of Plan Unit Development 00810, which permits an outdoor contractor storage yard. Currently, the properties are being used for an expansion of an automotive repair business adjacent to the west and a mobile home sales business. Both of these uses are currently violations of the PUD ordinance 00810. Since the property has never developed as proposed in 2008, and to allow the current uses to come into compliance, the petitioner is requesting a rezoning to C4 to allow for continued use of the property. In conclusion, upon review of this request, the following conclusions have been reached. The rezoning of the subject property will allow for the current uses on the property to be permitted and allow for future development of the property as the 2008 PUD has never been acted upon. And the maximum development potential is unchanged. Therefore, there is no increase in potential infrastructure demands beyond what is currently allowed. Staff does recommend the Planning Commission recommend approval of this request and it's forwarding to the City Commission for final action. I do stand for any questions.
All right. Seeing as we don't have any questions from commissioners, we will close the planning hearing and open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public that would wish to speak for or against this case? All right, seeing as there are none, we will close the public hearing and reopen the planning commission hearing. And stand for any additional questions or a motion.
I'll make a motion in favor of case number P 23-17, request by Joshua Taylor to rezone 2 parcels from planned unit development PUD zoning district to commercial heavy C4 zoning district. General location 3187 Wrecker Highway. This area covered by this request is 1.32 plus or minus acres as stated in the fact sheet.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next case, case number P 23-08, an administrative request to amend the Winter Haven Code of Ordinances, Chapter 21, Article 5, Division 1, relating to requirements for development within the 100-year floodplain.
Yeah, good evening. Excuse me. I'll be the one presenting this one. The city has been active participant in the National Flood Insurance Program since September 30th, 1981. October 1st, 2017, the city participated in the Community Rating System program under the administration of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Under the CRS program, insurance policyholders in the city are currently provided a 10% discount in their insurance policy premiums. Within the Code of Ordinances, the city's flood-resistant construction and floodplain management provisions provided in Chapter 5, Article 2, flood-resistant construction, and in Chapter 21, Unified Land Development Code. These provisions were updated last June, updated June 27th, 2016. And the City Commission adopted Ordinance 0-16-19. The CRS audit indicated that certain provisions of the city's floodplain management ordinance require updating. Staff has prepared, with assistance from the State Floodplain Management Office, changes to amend language contained in Chapter 5 and Chapter 21, Article 5. Just to kind of pause here for a moment, this board's purview is really only with the Chapter 21 provisions. I'm just mentioning the provision changes that are happening in Chapter 5 of the code. They'll just go straight to the City Commission for their review, but the Land Development Code portion will require your action. So kind of as I continue, kind of keep that in mind. The changes to Chapter 21 include updates to the floodplain definitions, updates references to current December 22nd, 2016 floodplain map, includes provisions for accessory structures, requires engineering analysis for development in floodplains, has requirements for elevation certificates, and updates elevation requirements for buildings and critical infrastructure. Therefore, staff does recommend the Planning Commission recommend approval of this request and is forwarding the City Commission for final action.
Any questions? Commissioners? No?
I guess one thing, so I know of all the floodplain changes and the elevation things, but I guess I'm wondering, is it possible to tie it to the map as it updates? Because otherwise you kind of give it a date and then you have to fix it in both places later.
You know, we are privileged to have our assistant city engineer Willie Nabong in attendance, and maybe Willie can answer if that's permissible language. I do know that we had to have the state sign off on the language that we're presenting tonight. So I'm not sure if they'll allow it, what I'm gonna call self-amending language in the code. So let's see what. You can.
Or you can.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Willie Nabong, Assistant City Engineer. I have to apologize firsthand. I did not hear the question.
Oh,
If I may have you repeat, please.
I was wondering if we could accept or slightly amend the language to not be so specific on the date and basically make it be the accepted floodplain map, because floodplain map every few years changes because of changes in storm events, changes in, you know, the LiDAR and actually, you know, where the actual elevations are, right? As sea level rise, things like that, right? So what I was wondering is if we don't, can we make it so it just ties to it? That way, whenever it changes automatically. We don't have to go back to it.
I like the idea, Commissioner. Unfortunately, based on FEMA's requirements, we have to specify the date of our current firm map.
Okay,
So
that's fine. Thanks.
We don't need to engage the public on administrative requests, or do we?
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
do.
okay,
Yep, it's still a public hearing.
okay. So we don't have any more questions by commissioners? Nothing? Okay. Then we will close the planning commission portion of the hearing and open the public portion. Anybody wishing to speak for or against? No? Okay. We will close the public hearing and reopen the planning commission hearing and entertain a motion.
I will make the motion that we approve case number P 2308, administrative request to amend the Winter Haven Code of Ordinances, Chapter 21, Article V, Division 1, relating to requirements for the development within the 100-year floodplain.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Other business, any comments from staff?
Okay, first of all, I will touch on our items from March 7th meeting, and then I'm gonna touch on the bylaw changes that I hope you all received. The request we had to rezone that parcel at generally at the corner of State Road 544 and Old Lucerne Park Road, generally to allow MX zoning, and the proposed use as apartments. That's moving forward to the city commission during this month of April, so that should have final action, I believe, roughly around April 24th. And secondly, I'd like to bring up, you should have all received a copy of the proposed changes to the bylaws. Our hope is to review and take action of those at your May 2nd meeting. There is a stipulation in the bylaws as are currently written that there must be 2/3 of the members present to vote on them. So that means we're gonna have to have at least 6 in attendance at that meeting to take action on that item. Should we not have 6 and we only have 5, we'll just simply continue the request forward until such point we have a meeting with the necessary number of attendees. So that's it.
Any comments from planning commissioners? No?
Feels like a personal attack.
No, it's an opportunity, that's all.
Yeah.
Any comment from
The
the public?
bylaws. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I agree with it.
I have one. This pertains to the additional terms for the chairperson. Is that what that one
I'm
was?
not sure if we should be discussing that this evening.
Should we?
Well, I don't see why we can't discuss it, just you can't make
Take
any,
action.
you can't take action or intend how you
Okay.
plan to vote.
Okay,
So the amendments were emailed out. Did you receive those?
I did.
Yes, and I listed in the email the proposed, major changes, but it was to take away any term limits on the chair. And there were some other changes within there as well that just needed to be updated because it's been 10 years since they've been looked at. So those are the amendments that were emailed will be what will go up for action if we have at least 6 members
Are
present.
you open for, a comment regarding that now, or would you rather have it at the?
I would, if you have a comment about any proposed amendments up to the amendments of something you want, I would wait till that meeting when that item is on the agenda.
Okay, I have one.
He could engage you, right, as long as he doesn't.
I mean, yeah, if you want to call the office tomorrow and kind of talk to us about some of the ideas, so we can have that together as in staff's presentation. Beforehand, we
Okay.
could do that, but not right now.
I understand.
There's
Thank
just
you.
not enough of us here and then it'd be. whatever.
Well, and it had to be noticed at least 30 days, so that's why it's May.
Okay, I understand.
That's why we gotta get that. The training, right? Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Any additional comments from commissioners or the public? All right, then we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Adjourned. That wasn't bad.
So. A good break in.
Nobody.
Yeah.